Welcome to Financial Coffee Talk with Shane Amy and Shane Swearingen, your planning duo from Shane and Shane Financial.
And welcome into Financial Coffee Talk from Shane and Shane Financial. Shane Swearingen and Shane Amy, your planning resources with a common sense approach to helping uncomplicate the financial investment and retirement planning world. And today tackling one of the big questions: how do I make my money last and have a confident retirement? Shane, I know that one of the top fears of retirees is running out of money. If the status quo worked effectively, if what we were told was effective really was, would we see this as such a common concern?
The concern really comes into play when, again, everyone has their own unique situation, obviously, but really, if you have the mindset of trying to accomplish and trying to plan for the long term, really, it's about eliminating the risks that come along the way. It's not about necessarily, addressing the fear. It's an ongoing basis. It's not something you can solve in one sit down conversation. So it's a tough thing to do. It's on everyone's mind as, their number one fear, but you kind of have to peel back the layers with folks when they're in your office, because you really have to get down to the nuts and bolts of what's bothering them, what becomes doable, what's not doable based upon, the assets that they have, the income that they have. So there's a number of factors that you kind of have to peel back the onion, so to speak, and get your client to tell you the truth.
Well, Shane, Amy, what are some of the behaviors or characteristics that you have seen of effective savers, or things that we can be doing along the way to reduce or eliminate this concern of running out of money in retirement?
Yeah, I mean, no one wants to be, 83 and run out of money. That's the number one fear of everyone. And so it's not that hard. If you can put away 15% of your income, I mean, you're pretty bulletproof. All of our clients, and I mean, personally, everybody out there should be at least at a 5% withdrawal rate or north of that. If you're not, you need to figure out why. There are accounts and there are tools out there that this should not be as big of a problem or as big of a worry as it is. And it is, by far, it's still over inflation. People are freaked out about running out of money, and it just shouldn't be. If you're living below your means, if you're saving, your 15%, you're putting that away, and you're getting a good withdrawal rate, you're getting a good return on your investments, your safety is in check. If you've got a year and a half to 2 years of your retirement funds where you can just dip into it when the market's down and it's not tied to the market, you're going to be fine. If you're invested in, long-term, dividend producing companies, you're going to be fine. So, I mean, it shouldn't be as big of a deal as it is, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's more of a fear or if it's just bad information.
Well, nobody wants to ask the kids if they can come live with them either. And Shane Swearingen, you've talked about how budgeting is a very valuable tool. Now, this is nobody's favorite activity, I don't think, but you've talked about how the budget for retirement isn't about restrictions and things we can't do. It's about the confidence to do the things that we want to do.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. If you have a budget that you can stick to in retirement, it's a tough thing to do. But the goal is to have, endless amounts of income coming in so that you can spend, on a monthly basis and start to plan for some of the unexpected things as well. But really, if you're allocating enough of your assets toward income, that's where the fun starts. The clients that we see that are in trouble, they don't allocate enough towards income. They're more focused on growth, and it's more of just a wing it approach. They start to withdraw assets without a plan, and they withdraw too much on top of a down market. There's several things that can happen if you don't stick to the budget, if you don't create a guaranteed source of income coming in and non-guaranteed. But there's a number of things that kind of escalate starting right from that budget if it's not followed properly.
At Shane and Shane Financial, I know that you create that retirement income plan, a blueprint for retirement for clients to build confidence in the stability and quality of life into and through retirement. What are some of the factors and variables that plan must address that you're seeing many people have not addressed as they're moving into retirement that you think helps improve the outlook, Shane, Amy?
So I've seen two families just this week alone with two different firms, we'll say, that are unrelated. Nobody knows each other, and they come into the office, and they're all in the 60s. So husband, wife, they're all in their 60s. Between both families, they have a total of 20 companies that they're invested in. And out of the 20 companies, probably 5 to 7 of them are the same companies. And so I don't know what's going on out there, or if I'm on my little tirade this week, but if you're in your 60s and you're invested like you're in your 20s, and you only have, you're on some other advisor's plan, and whatever it is that they're doing, somebody's not listening to you. So when you build a plan, make sure your advisor's listening to you. Make sure you're not invested like a 25-year-old, because when bad things happen, and they do, and we're going through it now, and we're going to continue to go through it here for the remainder of this year, in my opinion, and you lose, 30-40% of your investments, that's either your advisor's not listening or you're not telling them. So, I mean, again, if you have good communication, it's not that hard. So you have to have some growth. Okay. You can't have your money, buried out back in a coffee can. You have to have some safety. Okay. We can't be, invested like a 25-year-old, and you have to have some diversity. And when, most people have the same similar problems, but how they go about solving them, that's why we exist. And so good withdrawal rate, make sure you're at 5% or north of that. Please be diversified with a purpose. If you have an advisor and you've got all of your money invested in 10 companies, I can't help you with that. And I'd love to debate, the advisor that put them in there. So, simplify it. Simpler is always better, but safety, growth, make sure you're saving some of that money, and get a good income plan that's at least 5% or north of that. That's my advice for this week.
So back to you, Shane, Amy, what you're saying, I think I hear, is that within a growth portfolio allocation, you don't have that diversification. There's an overexposure and concentration in a very small amount of companies. It's really an overexposure to unnecessary risks, potentially.
Yeah, it's completely unnecessary. Either, and both of these families that I'm referring to, I think had no idea how they were invested, and there was an uncomfortability level, which is obviously why they were sitting in, Shane and I's office. And so please don't take unnecessary risk. If that little, feeling in your belly button is going off, and you're getting that little sense like, hey, maybe something's wrong, something probably is wrong. So stay within your risk tolerance. If you need income, you should not be invested in growth stocks. You should be invested in stocks and companies that produce income. And so just make sure you're on your plan. You're not on your advisor's plan, and how, whatever their deal is, and however great, they think they are. Be on your plan. And if you're not on your plan, find an advisor who you trust, who's going to listen to you.
And Shane Swearingen, any other factors that you believe need to be specifically addressed in the planning process in order to build and elevate that confidence in lifestyle and stability in retirement?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors to consider. There's so many things that I'll say can go wrong in retirement, especially retirees that are on fixed income. You got to make sure you're planning for some of these things. And just to name a few, inflation the last couple of years has impacted people greatly. We talked about income earlier, and a lot of retirees are set on that fixed level income. You have to have increasing income. You have to have a variety of income sources where you're not just going to be, set at your same withdrawal rate. You have to increase that year over year if you want to keep that same standard of living as you age and get older. People are living longer and longer. So again, it's just, there's so many different factors that come into play. Taxes is another one. It's a huge, hot button for a lot of people. Again, you can plan for taxes proactively. Ultimately, we can't control what the government's going to do. But there are strategies out there that can help you as the consumer that Shane and I talk about and implement on a daily basis to reduce tax liability. It's just knowledge is power. So again, knowing, being comfortable with your advisor, being able to communicate with them. Shane and I have active ears all the time. We try to listen to our clients' specific problems.
And then back to you again, Shane Swearingen, the risk that Shane Amy just talked about seeing in client portfolios, that can have very different implications at different points in our life. I'm 42, and when I see the market go down, I look at it as a potential opportunity. I can buy more, but in retirement, the risk of market volatility has very different factors, forces, and implications on our financial outlook. So do you factor in some amount of market volatility into the income planning, or how do you address that fear, especially after we look at a year like 2022?
Absolutely. Market risk is, it's going to happen, right? If you look at the history of the markets, it's going to happen at certain periods of time. And it's our job to position our clients not only to avoid market risk, but also to take advantage of it when it does happen. So, really, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, like I said, when you're kind of at or near that retirement age. But again, as long as you're planning for that distribution of wealth, once you do stop earning that income from whatever career you're coming from, if you have a plan for it, most importantly, we try to educate our clients on how we take advantage of those times, especially if you're a younger client. Yes, those are buying opportunities. But even if you're retired, there's ways to take advantage of that, because typically what happens, after a recession or a bear market is our clients make, their most wealth in those time periods. So it's all about having, again, like Shane said, the proper risk tolerance that you as the client feel comfortable with, so that you're not going to, run astray or jump off the plan that we have created for you.
Well, on today's program, we have talked about some of the attributes of successful investors and retirees, as well as some of the factors that must be included in your specific written retirement plan. And Shane Amy, you put together those type of plans each and every day there at Shane and Shane Financial, along with Shane Swearingen, of course.
Absolutely. That's what we get paid to do. So, as I said before, similar problems, how people go about solving them are, it's the reason why, Shane and I, do what we do. So, if you have questions, please, find someone that you trust, and build the plan around you. It's not that complicated.
Well, if you would like to get that plan put together, pick up the phone, give Shane and Shane Financial a call. 800-300-3811. That's 800-300-3811. Or you can visit online and contact them through ShaneandShaneFinancial.com. That's ShaneandShaneFinancial.com. And Shane Swearingen, even if we've had that plan put together, our life changes, the world changes around us, it is important to continue to update that plan on an ongoing basis as well.
Absolutely. Got to update it. Multiple times a year, things change, life comes at you, especially in the last, 2 to 3 years, we've seen things come at us fast and happen quickly. You have to be able to adjust your plans appropriately.
Well, thank you so much for always bringing a dose of common sense to this crazy financial world and breaking things down in a simple, easy to understand way for what we need to be doing or thinking about or addressing in our planning. From our investment and retirement standpoint, the resources that you have, ladies and gentlemen, at Shane and Shane Financial are here to help and assist. Put that plan together. Be in touch. Give them a call, 800-300-3811, 800-300-3811, or ShaneandShaneFinancial.com. Always a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you for, again, another great edition of Coffee Talk.
Thanks, Peter.
Friday.
The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes.
Fee-based financial planning and investment advisory services are offered through Truvestments Capital, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.